So ethics, as what Antoinette says sa iyong definition when it comes to ethics, it is what is right and wrong and choosing to do the right thing. So are we still choosing to do the right thing?
Yes. Yes.
Or so ethics is all about what we do when no one is looking. And are we still doing the good thing even if no one is looking?
Yes.
Sure. And it is based on fairness, honesty, and respect for others. So the one common thread is what we do. So ethics, when we talk about ethics, is actually something connected siya sa question na what we do. So it is all about actions and decisions. And our character embodies and our values and is the sum of our behaviors. Di ba from the previous pa na mga lessons, nag-talk about values. So our values, something like connected din siya sa mga ginagawa natin and something like related siya sa ethics. So, values are basic and fundamental beliefs that guide or motivate attitudes or actions. So we have here examples of ethical values and non-ethical values. So below, we have here the honesty, trustworthiness, kindness, responsibility, and so on. So mga examples sa ethical values. So these are actually the example of ethical values. So di ba, in ethical values, those example are universal accepted. Something accepted siya ng lahat ng tao. While in non-ethical values, this includes the wealth, power, fame, and prestige. So what do you mean by prestige? Skincare. So prestige is actually something like a recognition that you get from other people by achieving something. For example, you're a lawyer, and then you're a good lawyer or sikat ka na lawyer, and then people praise you. Something like that is prestige. There's something ang recognition na imo get sa mga people by being something batikan ka sa imong field. So the example below of in non-ethical values are something like this is universally something accepted sa tanang tao. But it doesn't mean that those examples that under in non-ethical values are wrong. Something like kasi most of the people even us, diba, we desire to achieve na something like wealthy ka, may atong power, not literally, then fame and prestige, diba? Like, we desire for wealth, power, and fame. So, something like, diba? Yeah. Something like if we're going to let this example under the non-ethical value roll our lives, of course we're going something like we will turn into selfish kind of people or something like greedy, diba? So something like it is not wrong to desire for example under the non-ethical values, but we should actually put limitation in doing it. Something like the example under the non-ethical values are not wrong, but it is considered wrong if we're going to let them rule our lives. So ethics is about creating an environment that supports the expression of ethical values while keeping in check on non-ethical values. Diba? Something like making a space where people can do what is right while stopping the wrong actions. So for example, in a classroom, a teacher encourages honesty by praising the students who tell the truth while also preventing cheating by setting clear rules and consequences. Then ethics is not what we think or feel is right or wrong. Because diba, from the previous definition sa ethics, ethics is doing what is right and wrong, and it involves actions and decisions. So something like we can't define ethics based on our feelings. And then ethics is not relative to an individual's desires and beliefs. And then it is something like relativism means each individual decides what is right and what is wrong in a particular circumstances. Then it's not, so we have here the misconceptions about ethics. So first is I must be perfect to be ethical. Do you agree with that?
Yes.
Yes. Who said yes?
I.
Well, based on that statement, ethics is about making good choices. So not being flawless, something like not being flawless, di ba? Wala may perfect na tao. I can actually remember during our Sunday school sa among church, one of our Sunday school teacher asked what is the meaning of nobody's perfect? And then one of my cousin told, I said that, ano daw, walay perfecto na lawas. Something like that, literally, yeah. But you know, that is really true, that nobody's perfect except from God. So, we can say that, we can agree with this statement that I must be perfect to be ethical. So, nobody's perfect. Something like ethics is about making good choices, but not being flawless. Then mistakes happen, of course, because, you know, knowing that we're just human being. But learning from them matters. Then example, a teacher admits a grading mistake and corrects it instead of hiding it. Like that. So something like we can consider to be ethical by instead of doing what is wrong, kaya syempre, di ba, pag makasala ta, we tend to do or make way para makalikaya na nasala. But instead of doing that, we should admit na nakasala ta and then do something to make it right. Next is, if I don't know no, it's wrong, it must be okay. What do you think with that statement?
Dapat
Yes, Guada.
So, parang yun na, kasi na, ignorance excuses no one. So, parang nga nagot siya. So, dapat kabalo ko yun na wrong yan. So, dapat okay na wala ko katigam. That's why gibuhan mo. Dapat katigam ka ba yun?
Yes.
It's the responsibility.
Yeah, correct. Something pa ignorance doesn't make something right. So something like example sa ato na edad karon, we already know what is right and wrong. And di ba, murag ka kuan ra pod kung kita mismo wala pa katakabalo say tama o mali. And then ethics requires awareness and responsibility. For example, a student plagiarizes a report without knowing it's wrong, but it's still unethical. Oops. Diba? Next is everybody else does it, so why not me? What is your stand with this line or sentence? Everybody raise your hand. What do you want to raise?
Jessica na.
Yes, JC, you're raising your hand. Do you have any idea? What is everybody else?
Bali, that's na ginahin mo ng lain ng tao. Oh, just because ginahin mo ng lain ng tao, that's hindi mo yung isa. Bali, makalang ka na dahil na sakto yato, naman yung
Thank you, exactly. So, di ba, just because many do wrong doesn't make it right. So, di ba, like, lang pa sa concept or phrases na ginayon nila, hindi lahat ng mabuti ay tama at hindi lahat ng tama ay mabuti. Di ba? Like, if you're going to dig deep by well, in a way that understanding that concept, makarealize ka na tama sa, di ba? So it doesn't matter or it doesn't mean na ginahimo sa tanan, himon po nimo. Because maybe those things that they do, makonsider nila na tama na sa imo, but based on your values and based on your concepts if mali po na siya, you should not do it. Next is wow. Okay, so next is if it isn't illegal, it's ethical. So what is your stand or idea about this one? From this side, no one is actually raising their hand or making a noise. Yes, Jib. What is your stand with this sentence or line?
Ay.
If it isn't illegal, it's ethical.
Di ba di ba di ba pag nilagyan ko idea sharp. Yes, okay. Bito.
Well, okay, you can sit down. Yes, Kate. You are actually excited reading this last part.
If isn't illegal, it's ethical. Kung dili siya legal,
Illegal sin.
ay kung if it isn't illegal, so dapat kung legal siya, it's ethical.
At the same time.
For me, because that kuan kay pwede ko hanap ng isn't, tas pwede hanap ng easy. So if it is legal, it is ethical. So that's the kuan. So for me, not all the time, because isn't it, kanang being ethical means kanang doing something behind the norms, behind the established kanang mga pamantayan, because there are good things that exist behind those kuan.
Yes, thank you for your answer. So, di ba, some actions are legal but still unethical. So, di ba, like ang ethics code is goes beyond the laws. Because, dili man tanan behavior or ginahimo nato is nailo, di ba? Like for example, if your friend betray you, wala man yung law na nag-ingon na mapriso siya kag betray ka niya. Yeah. Di ba? There's no law with that. Something like it goes beyond the law. So something like
Late traitor nila
di ba? Like, di ba? Something like, it goes beyond the law. It goes beyond the law. Something like, naapod sa imo. Like, you as a person should know about what is right and wrong. Di ba? For example, a company legally raises prices or essential goods during a disaster. But it is unfair to customer. So, di ba? Kung kay na-disaster, i-raise dahil nila ang kuhan. But what about those people na nang-lisod-ikot? Di ba? Okay, so what is ethics? So again, I searched for more definition about ethics and then I come up with this pinaka-simple na explanation. Then ethics is about knowing what is right and wrong and choosing to do the right thing. It is based on fairness, honesty, and respect for others. So we have here some example that under about what is ethics. So first is telling the truth even when it is hard. Are you still doing this?
Yes.
Still?
Maskin maipit ka, you need to be honest.
Diba? I don't know if you know about Barney Stinson, one of the character from the TV show Shyamalan. He said kasi that a lie is a great story that ruined by the truth. Which is totoo naman kasi. Kasi diba, if we're going to listen to other people's saying, and then without knowing kung tama pa itong ilang giingon, mutuod yun ka sa ila. But those things na ilang giingon sa imo will be ruined if makabalo na ka sa tinuod. Diba? It's a great story and ruined by telling the truth. Then next is returning lost money to its owner.
Okay po kita ko naman din sa guys ano.
Wala rin na balik.
Yes,
Wala rin na balik.
Kita ko naman din sa guys ano. Tapos, pero wala si Tagiya. Sige ko ako. Palit ko dahil. Oo, okay na nakatawayan na ako.
Well, yeah. Makonsider sa nato, diba? Like, you know, ako di ka kabalo like,
Pero, different sa good subsession. Lahat talang kita ko na siya ang tagita sa mong giwala. Inanan, returning lost money. Pero yan kita anak ko, tapos may tagiya, bulsa gitso. Diba? Blessing! Dapat din kami ng blessing.
Open ka way na para makakwarta ka.
Oo, labo na kasi balik sa
Kaya di ba kayo murang kaulap kung nakasaday sa rin na number mula urap may mura ka dito na kasi na wala ng 100.
Goni, like, crazy.
Apin na tanan. The next is treating people with kindness and respect. So this example are something like we consider as something under siya sa ethics. Then we have here what is not ethics? So not ethics means actions that are unfair, dishonest, or harmful to others. It is when people act only for their own benefit without thinking about what is right. So something like, diba, we already know what is right and wrong. So we can already identify if those actions is ethics pa ba? Ma-consider pa ba natin siya na ethical or not? Diba? If kana siya na action is only for yourself,
Yeah,
own
so
desire, of course, ma-consider na mo siya na unethical
saving
or
yourself.
So we have here some example. First is lying to avoid trouble. Diba? Then stealing from someone and cheating in exams to get a high score.
True.
So, kindly read everyone.
Ethics helps people live together peacefully and make choices in life.
Do you agree?
Yes.
Yes, of course. Diba? Because if we're going to imagine if all of the people living here on earth, diba, if we're actually doing things that under or ethical siya, of course we will have a world na peace siya and people will make good choices. But you know, tao man lang kita, we're not perfect, and then lain-lain po lang atong mga stands sa atong life. And those people siguro na nagahimo og mali sa ato mali pero sa ilaban nila na ano, I'm doing the good thing, di ba? Yeah. So any question? Yes, Darlene. Wow. So if none, thank you for
Lima na ka slide. Wala ko tayo to. Wala ko thank you.
Ayaw natin.
Ayun. Ay, wala ko lang. Jill, wala ko lang. Isumpay na ka na